Nice to see everybody here. Thanks for coming out.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Anyone ink a deal, sign a deal, make a verbal agreement in the last week or so?
Hear about deals.
Right? Wait, raise your hands. Okay, couple. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. You'll have to. What kind of deal? Yell loud.
So it's a lot that has a house, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, and a duplex on it. The guy needs to sell it because his wife doesn't want to move to Memphis after all. So I got it on seller financing.
Fantastic.
Awesome job. We like to. Sorry
3
about that.
addresses, 1 price.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, if you need any help with that, I know a couple guys that could talk
Exactly.
about, but awesome. And how'd you find that?
A family member called me up and says that they know what I'm doing and they wanted to let me know about this deal. It's a great deal.
Right.
And this and that.
So you're an expert and people want to work with people that know what they're doing? Is that what you're saying?
And you let your family and friends know what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me, that's like underline exclamation.
That'll never work, by the way. That doesn't sound like a winning proposition. Exactly.
That's always the case. That is still going to be there even 10 years from now, no matter what you kind of pay-for-click advertising you do, or professional networking, or postcards, or whatever else. That still will come down to people you know in a jam giving you a call, and those referrals are there. So awesome. Yes, Andy.
I had a fun one this week.
Okay, real quick.
Okay, I got contacted about 3 years ago from the park coach who told me when people were moved out, when there was opportunities, I'd give them a little money. He and the wife needed to borrow $10,000 to solve a problem. So I was able to purchase for $10,000 the right to buy their house for $10,100 subject to the underlying first. Solved their problem, and I took all the equity out of that house. I also recorded a revocable transfer on death deed because they have no heirs, and that simplifies things for me. June 29th, he passed away. So his wife and I now own the house 50-50. So I got that house. My basis will be the appraisal I get on that house sometime in the next 9 months.
Great job.
That's the way you do it right there. Very, very nice.
Anyone else? Was there another person? Well, I know Janine, you also got something signed. This is something that goes back from a couple of years ago. We got something in the postcard. Someone called on a postcard and said, I want to sell my house. And then they didn't, and they did, then they didn't. And there was family that each owned a part of it. And then finally, when they called back a year later, yeah, we want to do something now. And then I started working on it. And then as I'm dealing with one of the crazy family members, that's how it came across, is they just one side didn't know what the other side were doing. Then they asked, hey, do you know Janine Brown? And I'm like, no. I just keep thinking, it's Drew and Janine. I'm not thinking Janine Brown. Anyway, turned out I had to call them and go, actually I do, because she sent me a photo of one of my envelopes of my offer. Hey, Evan, is this you? And then I'm like, hey, guys, yeah, I'll back down. I'll use Janine to list that house. It would be great. Well, what has it been, another 6 months or 4 months? And you ended up getting it signed, and it's on the market, listed at least now. Because I just said, I'll step out. You're in good hands. And they still didn't know what to do. I offered half to buy one of them out, and then we'll go deal with the other, and we're trying to work on it together. And anyway, still got it signed, and you got it done this week, or last week.
Next month, though, we'll see if you have half to buy.
All right, yeah. Jury's out. But okay, but still, you got that done. And sometimes it takes years to get something done. It just does. Lee.
I got a verbal offer accepted on basically a rent-to-own property, small deposit now, and fix it up and pay off the balance in 6 months.
Congratulations. Awesome.
Does Ricardo have his hand up back there? You signed a contract, Ricardo?
This Ricardo?
Yeah, yes, you. Did you do something?
I did. I got a mobile home sign. Yeah, it's worth a good amount. I got a big discount on it because this lady has to sell it. She can't afford to live there.
And what are you going to do with it?
I'm gonna wholesale it, sell the contract.
Wonderful.
Okay, awesome.
How old are you? 22. I'm an old man. It's just, it's
Yeah, me
sad.
too.
It's-
Me too. Ray.
That Orange Grove property we're talking about in Riverside got sold for cash. We're in escrow.
Awesome. Okay, good. And we're in escrow on one of our flips up in the desert. We just countered. They just accepted our counter on the request for repairs. It's a flip that we're doing that I have very little money, virtually none, because I raised all the money to do it. And I mean, I think we're gonna have like 10 grand out of pocket, but we should make about 40,000 on that, and my wife will make a commission on it.
A 400% return on capital. huh?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
And before Andy beats me up on why I'm selling in a house like that, that's the one I already own other property on the street, and I'm keeping some other nicer ones that I just bought. So that's what's going on. But also today, Shammy and I, working on a couple things with Jim and I, we're doing reverse mortgages, working with people, knocking on the door or calling them, finding out who's in trouble with reverse mortgage and with probates. And today we bought the rights to a property that has about $130,000 worth of equity, $140,000, somewhere in there. It needs a few dollars worth of work, but he's going to walk away. We're going to give him a couple grand now, and in another 90 days, another $6,000. And it's about a $530,000 house, and the payoff's under 4. And we're just going to clean it out and put it on the market and do a couple things as soon as we can. But it is a rush against having it NOD and a foreclosure and all that. We just signed that at 4 o'clock today. We just got that done. I ran out to Yucaipa to
Not to steal her thunder, but I mean, all she did is knock on a door, right?
She knocked on the door, and then she literally caught the guy there. She talked to the neighbor. The neighbor gave a phone. I believe the neighbor gave the phone number of the grandson, and he was living there, and he lives in Big Bear now. And she did it, and we supplied the list. And Jim and I are doing it where we took some people that are out there that are hungry and said, hey, we'll give you some lists of things we're doing. If you want to do that, fine, but then you're going to work with us. And if you're interested and you're hungry and you want to make some money, fine, give us a call. But if you're going to waste our time, don't do it. Just don't bother us. It's just being honest, okay? Because we're going in 9
Most
different directions.
people don't do it.
Most people don't do it. We started with like 10, and I think we have 3 people still going through it. So, or 4. It's like, okay, just shows us. Some are doing it. Some like, oh, I'll do it once a month, every 2 months. Okay, all right, that's what you want to do. It's going to be hard to get rich, doing 1 day every 2 months, but that's just how it is. And I don't mean to ruffle any feathers, but it is something there. This is still a marathon. It's not a sprint, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, what I love about this is that deal is there for any one of us could have knocked on the door, and maybe Shammy has this particular talent for getting an answer out of them, but I'm sure one of you do too. So it really all it takes is to get. I'm a big fan of YouTube. I'm sitting there on my couch way too many hours. But when I get up and I actually speak to people about me becoming a buyer or me doing, selling some instrument or some financing or something like that, I usually do pretty well with it. So you got to get up and you got to actually do these things.
Yep. And just so you know, Jim and I do with different businesses. He can talk a little bit for some of the things he's doing. Some of you already heard him speak, but how he's working with the foundations and auctions and stuff like that. And we fix and flip. My wife's an agent, but we're essentially housing providers. We have a lot of rentals. We have a lot of notes. Some of you in here have more rentals and more notes, but we have enough for now. And the idea is we do that and we fix and flip. So this is something, so when you hear me talk about doing this deal and you think, well, Evan talks about rentals, why not keep them? Because it's a mix, all right? You can still flip for lifestyle and still take all your money and put it into rentals, notes, et cetera, so you can build long-term wealth, all right? So that's where I come from, and that's what we're doing. I wanted to share that, so when you talk about it, go, well, why didn't you keep this house just like that? Or why didn't you keep the other house? Because we flip, we wholesale, and we buy and hold. So we do multiple things. We're not just doing one. Okay? Make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. So understand that. We could, It's just kind of where we're at. Remember, it's something I believe in, and it's really the 4 pillars of business. The first one is about making money. The second pillar is getting our money to get our money working for us. Third is protecting what you got. And fourth is helping others. Okay? Those are the 4 pillars that we're really struggling to build our business on, and want to make sure that we're covering all of those. So want to make money, so want the money working for us, still want to go ahead and protect what we got. That's the structures and trust and stuff. And then helping others, which also, when we help others, a lot of that goes back to making more money. So it kind of goes like this, okay?
Yeah, and after you've been doing it for a few years, it all sort of feeds itself. But I mean, look at Andy's talking about someone that he goes in a community, and someone knew enough to say, oh, go to Andy. Andy's got the money to help them out of whatever situation they were in. And here a few years later, a couple years later, Andy's the recipient of this. And I know this is true in my own life, that I'm sitting there thinking, I'm never going to do another deal. The devil's telling me in my head, and the phone rings, and somebody wants me to help them out with a situation that I knew nothing about when I woke up, and all of a sudden we're doing a deal together. So it happens just like that. But I've been for years, just like I was giving you a hard time about being an expert to one of your family or one of your friends. I've got a large amount of people that know me as a successful real estate investor, and they call on me for all kinds of situations.
So first of all, make sure everybody you know knows what you do. Don't let them think, not that you think they know. If you're an agent and you're also a real estate investor, because you're now investing, you should call them and let them know, or text them as well, or email them, or all 3. Go send them a postcard. I don't care. Let them know that you are also an investor, not just an agent, because they will pigeonhole you too. Well, I know you're an agent, and I'm not an agent, I'm an investor, or et cetera. So understand that you want your friends and family and coworkers and people that went to school with you know what you're doing. It's important, and that's just something I wanted to explain about real quick. Real quick, what's a couple of the things you've been doing the last couple weeks?
I'm in month 4 of a gnarly eviction. Oh man, I'm in the county of LA, in a city of San Fernando, and I've got a duplex that I'm evicting people out of, and it's been a real mess. It's an amazing deal with a huge $500,000 upside, but getting access to that is not easy. So we have writs from the sheriff. It's going to take 90 days. So does anyone know anything about an eviction process? You go to court. You get a judgment. We got a default judgment.
And you bring a baseball bat
against these people, and we got a writ the same day to give to the sheriff, so the sheriff could evict them out of the property. But it's taking 90 days for that to be served. I offered them $15,000 cash for keys, and they were like, "Thank you very much. Have a good day." So now they're. I just heard today that they offered us a stipulation, and they wanted to leave the last day of February. Yeah, they wanted us to leave the last day of February.
I want 5 more months of free rent.
That's quite a stipulation, exactly.
Real quick.
So go ahead. What you got back there?
Okay, I talked to 2 property managers that manage 5,000 properties in LA County. And they're saying there's only 2 sheriffs in LA County that do lockouts. And it takes for them 2 to 3 months to schedule them and actually get them to do it.
There you go.
So they're taking total time for evictions in LA County is 3 to 5 months.
And I can attest to that because I'm going into month 5, and it'll be longer. The long story or the short story to this is we did get a stipulation out of them. We don't have it signed and ratified by the courts yet, but they're going to be leaving on January 2nd.
Well, why don't you real quick just explain how you got the house and what it's worth and that point versus the eviction? Just
beautiful. So I purchased a second mortgage, and every one of you could do this. I purchased the second mortgage at trustee sale for $170,000. That was the second mortgage. There was an existing first mortgage of $520,000, and it was about $50,000 in the rears. So if for all of you that don't know this, if you purchase or you own the second mortgage, if you purchase the second mortgage at sale, you own the home and the lender, and you own the loan. They can't call it due. Okay, they can't call the first mortgage due because you're essentially the owner of the property. They won't do that to you. So I had to call them. Now I don't have a third party agreement from the borrower, so they're not all that nice to me. Meaning
But
they
real quick, you're about $200,000 in. You had to do that.
I'm 170 plus 55. What is that? 235.
Okay.
So I'm 235 in.
What's the house worth?
It's worth $1,700,000. So it's a great deal for us, and
So $1 million of equity.
about that.
I don't know if you guys liking that numbers. I've never done that, but it's like wow, $1 million of equity. Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this deal. And do you think I'm looking at other second mortgages that are, tiny? What you got back there?
Oh, I got a couple of $1 million worth. How many you want?
There you go. What you got? Yeah, no, I'm just telling you, there are deals, guys. There are deals like this out there. This isn't like a special deal.
Right.
There's deals out there. You got to research them. We spend a lot of time working on stuff like this, but they're out there.
And you're doing that with a very specific way, which is you talk to Jim about it. You can explain it's something we can't get into in an hour.
2 minutes here.
Yeah, it's just something that he's actually working. You're still learning on as you're doing.
Oh, I'm visiting attorneys, and I've got a consultant full time that literally helps me just do this whole setup.
And you're getting paid to learn, basically, too.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right,
Hopefully get a check.
All right. Well, cool. All right. Well, I wanted to just kind of let you know on that. And one other thing, real quick, I want to talk about is I noticed that as you saw that we have Adrian, Andy, and Farah coming up on that weekend. Let me tell you something. I started investing out of state 7 years ago, I forget. We started doing flips out of state, started buying whole out of state. I raised some money. I was going to start doing that in Indiana. That's what we were doing. And bought a property out there, bought some stuff up north. And then I somehow stumbled on and got a hold of a mobile home. And I called Andy and said, Andy, I got this mobile home. What do I do? And he's like, get the hell to my class, which is tomorrow. So I dropped what I was doing, went to his class, and I actually started learning about the financial calculator. Who does not know about the financial calculator or how to use one, at least on basic level? Who does not know? Honestly, who does not know? Okay, be honest. Raise your hand all the way. Come on. Some of you are doing this. It's like, what does that mean? Okay, all right. The reason why I say that is I don't buy a car, I don't buy a motorcycle, I don't look at a loan, a HELOC without running through that. And I can't believe that I was in my late 40s or say before I really started to even begin to understand it. I still don't completely understand it. I do a few basic things over and over again and it works. And I tell you, Mick used to talk to me about that. Well, get out your calculator. And in the beginning, I'm like, okay. And I didn't really understand it until I took Andy's class. I took it multiple times, and we did everything wrong. And I think within about 6 weeks, I think I made like $12,000. And then we did a couple other deals, and we just started making some really good money. And we stopped investing out of state and said, well, for these amounts, there were deals all over the place. And so we ended up investing in a lot of mobile homes and parks and mobile homes and land. And I can tell you, I have Adrian's home study course and all that, because I met him a couple years ago, nice guy. And I can tell you this, I highly recommend getting out there, even if you're a fix and flipper, even if you're just a buy and hold guy, you don't want to do anything with mobile homes, you want to take it to see what is going on out there. Because it's something like 30, some of you, Andy probably knows, there's a certain percentage, like 30% of the country that lives in manufactured homes, or 20%.
A third of the population in the United States lives in a mobile or manufactured.
See? So it's a third.
The largest home builder in America is a manufactured home builder. So
that's what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, I highly recommend getting there. we cash flow better on our manufactured/mobile homes on land than we do on any other property. We don't get the appreciation, but we get a better cash flow. And I'm just telling you, I know somebody very close that's just now buying a mobile home on land for under $100,000 that'll rent for $1,800 or $1,900 right here in SoCal. Just
Better than 1%.
that's better than 1%. It's freaking great. So I'm telling you, definitely get over there. I highly recommend it, and I want to do that. All right, we're going to talk about probate tonight. Last month we talked. Who was here last month on the reverse mortgage? All right, some of you. Okay, this is really, you can do a deal with reverse mortgage or a deal that's just a probate deal, and you can, but if they're together, I'm telling you, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. If you we just keep stumbling upon them, and it's something that we keep doing because it kept happening. I can't tell you how many times we walked away from deals all these years. There was a reverse mortgage, and someone wanted I'm just giving it back to the bank, and we'd walk away because there was like, well, we don't know what to do, we don't know this. And same thing with the probate deals. Oh, you're waiting for an attorney? Well, when you get an attorney, let me know and you can sell. Okay, and then, it just goes away. So this is what we're going to talk about tonight. But before that, we're going to do a deal review, and the deal that Patrick and I just closed on. Let's see. Make sure I didn't break this just now. Farrah, you might need to come over here. I think I did. Yeah. Come here. Yeah. I need to get my glasses to see this. Yeah. Can you see about fixing that? I don't know. We'll see about that. I told you. Well, I told you it dropped. I dropped and I stepped on it 3 times. Where? No, a button. What do you mean a button?
This piece came off.
If not, we'll do it manually here. We'll have to do it this way. See, anyone can do this. Who can drop something? Who can drop something well? Okay. Yeah. I ride motorcycles, and you really know that you can ride motorcycles, and you're really cool when you learn to fall over at 1 mile an hour in front of all your friends. They have cameras, and they'll go get their cameras. They'll take photos before they lift up the motorcycle. You're laying there half underneath it. Can you help me? They're like 1 second as they're getting the camera.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
By the way, Evan is really cool.
About
Falling.
There's a video of me falling down. It did. You can't go back? Okay, so what do I do? Left, right?
So I saw on television that there is a $22 trillion that is going from the folks that are getting ready to pass to us, the living, okay? $22 trillion. So if any of you are thinking, that Evan, the way he finds these, I could never do that. I'm telling you, they're under every rock.
Right.
You just have to know,
How many of you know someone alive and that will die? If you don't raise your hand up, I cannot help you. Okay. First of all, we are not lawyers. We're not tax professionals. We're not licensed real estate agents. Not a broker, not a financial advisor, marriage counselor, really. And no, just something. But we just want you to know, always seek valid and legal tax advice. We're giving you our everything we're talking about, things we're doing, we've done, we've been told by our advisors, or we literally have done it in our experience, and it's our opinion. So understand that. The other thing is, real quick, fix and flips. That's me. I've been an investor for a long time and kind of see that. We're going to skip that. Jim?
I do the same.
He did the same, doing a bunch of stuff. You can see. Again, you see how important this is. I don't want anyone thinking that, well, he said, yeah, I talked to my lawyer a lot, but that's what's going on. Well, real quick, we're going to do this deal review, and this is the house Patrick found, and it was a family. We talked about it a little bit last week, but we're going to go into the numbers a little bit. And his in-laws are across the street, and this is the one that his wife said, don't get involved. And as a good husband, he didn't listen to his wife, like a lot of us don't. And it worked out well for all of us.
You use that a big time, don't you?
Yeah. This is the inside of the house. This is one of the photos. That's the kitchen and the countertop there. And that was about 4 inches thick of those. Look how many egg crates on the bottom. You see that? You ever see a house like that, Jim?
People are just crazy,
Yeah,
aren't
yeah,
they?
right?
They really are.
Here's another room. Look at that. Literally, as you step, you dropped down. You didn't know what you're stepping on. There was a dead opossum in the house, dead cat.
The smell
least
of
one.
money. That's what it is. The smell of money.
It really was.
Every step was fleas.
Oh, yeah, and we'll go into that. This is one of the view of the living room. That's literally one of the. How many who visited the house? Because I know a couple people. You guys aren't here. All right.
All the people are scratching.
Yeah. This is one of the offices with drop-down ceiling. This is it, and this is when we're done. All right, so we went from this to that.
The
All
best
right.
tree guy I ever saw. You guys did a great job on the trees. They really did.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about this deal real quick. Again, here's the kitchen. There's after. Again, before, after. We're going to kind of do it this way. Right?
That's very cool.
Again, let's go back to the living room. That's still the living room. And this is almost, similar angle. That's the living room when we were done. Okay? Just kind of, again, doing this. And there were a bunch of fleas that were just atrocious. We'll talk about that. And you could smell the smell. I mean, really. It was bad. At first when we looked at the house, Patrick asked me how bad it is. I was like, oh, yeah, it's definitely the worst houses, top 6 or 5 or 10, whatever. And by the time I was done, I go, I think this might be the worst, top 2 or something, or top 3. Yeah, it was.
It wasn't that bad.
This is the pool.
It wasn't that bad.
This was the pool, the overgrown. We didn't even know what was in the backyard. We ended up pretty much put a new pool in. How to do that. So again, you get this. And you see how low that water is. It was leaking. It was literally leaking in the worst spot you could have a pool leak, as we found out. We suspected because they told us it was leaking, but we were hoping it really was near the surface, but it wasn't, and that's before and after. As a matter of fact, the person that did this was a former tenant of ours, evangelist of ours from like 10 years ago, and he does pools. He's a little pricey, but he's good.
So that's coping, that's new plaster,
Yeah, they
that's what else?
jackhammered. I couldn't tell you, but they jackhammered all the plaster. They put in the 2 drains because the pool has to have 2 drains these days, not just one. It's the new tile around. And remember anything particular, Patrick? What else they did besides?
Just fix the skimmer.
Yeah, the skimmer and all that.
So they fixed the existing skimmer and the existing filter and heater and everything stayed, or
yeah,
just a
no,
filter?
the filters and all that. That was good.
What's hilarious though is that the entire border of the backyard, we and that shed, we didn't even know
No, it was there.
existed.
Remember,
There
look
was
at that.
so much
We couldn't see it.
overgrowth. Once we cut it all back, there was stone everywhere.
Yeah,
There was a shed.
We walked along the left side like if we slip, we're falling into the pool. And we were waiting to see who was going to do it.
So that was a $20,000 pool repair?
Like 24 or something.
24,000?
Something like that. And remember, that was it.
You
yeah.
feel like you got a good deal on that?
Oh, yeah, well, we wanted to hire someone that I trusted that have said, Evan, you need to do this, that we didn't go, geez, I wonder if I need to do this. Because not only we knew him, but another member had also, his son is good friends with our friend Lauren as well, and knew him for many years too. So we had a couple sources that were saying it, and they do some big projects, and I've known the guy for years, although I hadn't talked to him in years, et cetera. Yes, Patrick?
And also, because this happened with another member, he was getting his pool fixed. I don't know if he's here right now, but he said that the guy started doing the work, and then after he'd already done the work, said, oh, you might. Then they started to diagnose the leak. Whereas our guy said they'll do it before they start to tear out all the concrete,
Right.
and it's like $500.
Yeah, to have a leak detection unit come in and do it, so we
If you
knew.
ever have to deal with the pool, make sure that you're getting the somebody who's going to be honest with you and not
Right.
kind of get you caught up.
Right, or get you into the job, and then you're like, now you have to continue.
Correct.
All right, so this is these are the numbers. Purchase price, $450,000. Closing costs were $9,000 about. Total needed, $459,000. I don't know if that numbers are. That's one of the more expensive houses that we buy. And we did that. And how much out of pocket for